guys, so we gotta talk about what's going on with Tesla. Is the stock gonna continue going up, or are we gonna see some downside? So in this video, I want to talk about some major price levels as well as some, catalyst events that we really have to pay attention to. Now guys, remember that this week we have a lot of major companies announcing their earnings, so this is gonna be a very big week for the market, as well as that on the 28th we also had a GDP report coming out for Q2 of 2022. So again, a major week coming. Now I want to start off with some of the news or catalyst events going on, but I do want to start off with something I find kind of funny, kind of interesting, and also kind of sad. Now there have been headlines all over the place stating that Elon Musk had an affair with the wife of a co-founder for Google, Sergey Brin, I believe is how you pronounce it. And this is just something that's going all over the headlines. You see it on Twitter, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Instagram. I mean, and pretty much every other news publication, like you may see in Yahoo or wherever you guys get your news, right? Now the reason I find this kind of funny is because it just kind of plays onto the meme that Elon Musk is really taking this population downtrend very seriously, where it's almost at a point where if you don't have 10 kids, then you better make sure that when you lock your doors at night that you have 2 locks on, because Elon Musk may come and try to increase the population with your partner. So just saying that. But anyways, going on to some more serious news. Elon Musk announced on Twitter that Tesla is going to be enhancing the service at Tesla, where they're going to be trying to do 1 hour or less for service repairs, kind of applying a Formula One style to their service. Again, not really major news, but just something that I wanted to point out there. But I want to go into the actual charts and talk about some really important things that I think we really have to pay attention to. Alrighty, so we're over here looking at the Webull platform. This is the platform that I use to trade. Now again, it's not necessarily the platform you guys have to use to trade, but keep in mind that there is a special promo where if you guys check out the links in the description of this video and you sign up with Webull using that link and deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks. And in this economy, you got to take whatever you can get for free. When I first signed up for Webull, I got a free share of Google that I actually made a video about showing you guys how I got a free $1,000 share of Google. That's how much it was worth at the time. So yeah, you could get free money just for signing up with Webull. 2 free stocks. Definitely take on that offer. But with that being said, I want to highlight some price levels that are taking place with Tesla. So we saw that Tesla had a massive run up, and this is something I mentioned on a multitude of videos in the past. How Tesla was trading within this kind of this channel over here, which I had this like blue, light blue rectangle, and I labeled that as an area of like a supply zone, right? And the reason I said that is because for a while there was a lot of compression on the chart, a lot of consolidation where Tesla would kind of go down, go up, couldn't break above it, go down, go up, couldn't break above it, and it was like happening over and over again. I mentioned that once we break out of this channel, there is going to be a massive candle, and if we kind of zoom in over here, we see this big candlestick going up, right? And this was right after earnings, where if you guys don't know Tesla, I made a video talking about it, but Tesla had a massive position in Bitcoin. They ended up selling 75% of their stake in Bitcoin, which I think was a good decision on their end, considering how Bitcoin has been doing. I think it was better to just kind of cut the losses. For those of you guys that don't know, let's go ahead and show you guys the Bitcoin chart. I mean, this is the Bitcoin chart over here, slowly coming up, but again, not doing too well. Now, Tesla did buy Bitcoin back in January of 2021, so they did have a massive uptrend with Bitcoin. They did sell around over here, just a small position, and they continued holding it all the way until somewhere around over here. We don't have the exact date, but yeah, definitely really glad that they got out of that position with Bitcoin. So yeah, that was pretty much the news for Q2, which led to Tesla, having this massive candle breaking out of this supply zone. Now in the past, the supply zone was a demand zone as well, because it was a supply zone, couldn't break above it. Once it broke above it, this now changed into an area of demand where when we touched it, we would go up until we broke below it, and then here we are now. So this can very well now serve as a demand zone, just something we have to keep an eye on. Again, stocks, something I really want to let you guys know is that stocks do not have to adhere to whatever trend lines or support lines, resistance lines, or whatever drawings you do on the chart. So that's something I want you guys to keep in mind, that whatever you do on the chart is really to measure what's going on with the stock and not predict what's going on with the stock. Something I try to mention a lot in the Push and Profit program. Now, we have this confirmation of an uptrend, but the question is is the uptrend going to last? Well, here's some things I want to point out, right? So on a larger scale, we had this descending trend line going down, and I mentioned in a lot of videos how for my long-term investment portfolio account, right, and I want to be very specific here, I trade Tesla, but I also invest in Tesla long-term, right? Two separate accounts, one for investing, one for trading. And my investment account, I do not plan to add more into Tesla until there is much more of a confirmation of an uptrend. So until we break out of this descending trend line, I don't plan to add more into my position. And the reason being is because, a lot of people say, oh, just buy the dip, but the dip can get dippier. So imagine if you're buying the dip here, it's good that you're averaging down, but I like to wait for a stock to be beaten down and then show signs of confirmation that it's going back up for me to get a better average price, right? So it's still the same concept of dollar cost averaging, but trying to get better prices for the averaging that you're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, just like when it comes to shopping, I don't know about you guys, but I like to look for deals. And so the same thing for the stock market. I like to look for deals, but I want to make sure that, of course, if this is an investment, something that I believe is going to continue going up, right? And if we kind of just go into the pandemic of 2020, when Tesla stock was going down, people just kept averaging down, buying the dip. I didn't buy the dip until I saw Tesla break out of this area showing signs of an uptrend. That's when I bought in. So my average price is a lot better. But with that being said, when it comes to trading, again, I still look at confirmation, something that I talk about a lot in the Push and Profit program. But of course, the confirmation is going to be at a shorter time frame. It's not going to be as the longer scope when we're looking at a long-term picture for an investing. So for trading, we have to see, we are showing signs of a confirmation going up, but we could have very well this resistance over here with the 200-day simple moving average. Something I want to point out there that could be an area of resistance, and that's really around the level of 911. So something we want to point out too. So again, I'm going to see how the stock does trending. Are we going to go up higher, touching this area, or are we just going to continue going down? Now, something that is kind of worrisome is if we just look at the QQQs, which is a NASDAQ ETF composite, or NASDAQ index ETF. We see that this is looking like an area of resistance where we're right around over here. We see this red candle, and we see that last time we were around these levels, we tremendously dropped a lot more, right? And that's why I mentioned that this week is going to be a very important week with the earnings, because we have a lot of large or mega cap stocks announcing their earnings, and we really want to see what is going on with the revenue with these companies. Is consumer sentiment or consumer spending going down all over the place, or are we going to still see numbers look good for these massive big companies? Again, something we really have to pay attention to, because that could definitely shift the trajectory of the market. And then also we do have the GDP coming out for Q2, the report, and that could also give us a kind of an indication of, are we actually in a recession? Because if we are, and there is more bad news, which in my opinion I think there definitely is, then we could definitely see more downtrend or more downside. And I know a lot of people kind of are saying, oh, this is the bottom. Well, we have to wait and see, right? Because again, one of the major indications of if we are in a recession is if we have two negative GDP quarters, right? We know Q1 for the GDP was really bad. We got to see what happens for Q2. But again, something I definitely want to be looking out to. I started mentioning in a lot of my videos that I think you guys should be paying more attention to economic data, because this really influences what's going on with these stocks. I think a lot of times too many people talk about price levels, and although when it comes to trading, we are primarily looking at price levels, right? But you have to understand why prices go up and down, right? It's not just because out of no reason stocks just go up and down. There's a reason. People are pouring their money in or taking their money out, and there's several different circumstances that influence why people are making the decisions, right? And of course, if we're kind of in an economy that's not looking too good, we may have individuals kind of pulling out from the market, putting a lot more selling pressure, making stocks go down. So something we really have to pay attention to in the next coming week. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. No one has a crystal ball, but it's really just, measuring what's going on and then taking action, right? So, of course, if we have some positive news and we see like some some green candles come up, I'm going to be taking a trade and then, keeping an eye out for this $911 area right around over here if we kind of zoom in, right? And then if we do break above that area, then guess what? The next next area I'm looking at is, are we going to break out of this, downtrend over here, right? So definitely something I'm going to be looking into. Hopefully, fingers crossed that, this is the bottom, because I don't want to be someone that only spreads FUD. I'm definitely bullish on Tesla. You guys know I have Tesla in my long-term portfolio, and I do want the best for Tesla, but we really have to see what ends up happening. Fingers crossed that, the numbers come out good with these earning reports, with the GDP, but, most likely, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to look too good. Something I also want to mention is that oftentimes in a bear market where we have, stocks go below 20% down, you get like tricked out a lot. And what I'm trying to say is that oftentimes people think that a bear market goes straight down, but a bear market is very volatile with a lot of rallies. And I think that really confuses people, where everyone's trying to call out the bottom, saying this is the bottom, this is the bottom, but that's not necessarily the truth. And if you guys see, starting from, the beginning, or pretty much December of 2021, that's pretty much where I would say is the peak of Tesla, and also the peak of like this market, where ever since then we've been trending downwards. And you see that, we had these massive rallies up. Tesla was going down. I was shorting Tesla, making good money on Tesla on my trading account. And then I believe it was March 14th, right, where we had this massive, uptrend for Tesla. It looked like things were just, getting back to normal. The market was no longer bearish and more likely going to be bullish. But then, of course, we got stopped out with this resistance level, and then, things started to continue going down. And we see that, we're possibly in this another area where we're very bullish, but it just happens in a bear market where there's a lot more volatility. It's not like a bull market where things are slow and steady, right, and they slowly go up. If I just go to let's go to the S&P 500 actually, ETF SPY, and let's go to like a monthly view. Something I want you guys to see is that, pretty much, we go up. This is, from 2012. We slowly go up, Not much, volatility happening, maybe in September, where, it's historically bad months for the market. We have some red candles. But again, it's mostly just green candles slowly going up. However, in a bear market, we see, it's red, green, red, green. And something that I want you guys to, maybe take a note of when it comes to trading, helping yourself identify where stock or where the market is going, seeing trends a lot more clearer. Sometimes I like to switch the charts, right? And sometimes, instead of looking at things from just the typical bar chart, I'll go ahead and I'll actually switch this into something called a Henkayashi chart, right? And a Henkayashi chart, what it does is it's like kind of like a bar chart, but it measures the average price. And because it calculates, the candlesticks slightly differently, it lets you kind of identify the trends a lot more clearer, because, bullish trends tend to be more bullish, showing more green candles, and bearish trends tend to be more reddish, versus your traditional candlesticks where it's kind of like all over the place. So if you guys want to, see a better, accurate, or not accurate, but more clearer picture for, where we're heading, look at, switch to Henkayashi candlestick chart, and you could see, we're kind of in this big red area, and there's still not like significance of green candle, or I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong, but there's not a strong buying pressure coming in to show us like a bullish trend. Definitely something I like looking at. Sometimes I even use area charts or even line charts. I use that to draw lines of supports and resistances. So if we just go to Tesla, I like just to show you guys. We'll probably have to scale in a little bit. I like using these line charts simply because line charts only show the closing price. And Charles Dow, one of the founders of the Dow Jones and also Wall Street Journal, used to love using line charts simply because he believed that the closing price was the only most important price level to really pay attention to. So definitely something I recommend you guys do. If you're having an unclear thought of where the market's going, maybe just switch up the view, and you'll be able to see more clearly what's happening. But with that being said, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on Tesla in the short term for your trading accounts, or even in the long term if you're someone who's invested in Tesla, right? I'm definitely someone bullish, but again, we have a lot of bad news coming out, so we'll have to see. But with that being said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to need you guys to watch this next video over here, because it's going to be a really great video to help you with some further knowledge when it comes to trading. With that being said, hope to see you guys on that video, and take care.